Hi, and welcome to another episode. Well, actually, this is the first episode of our new podcast, The Countdown 210. I'm your host, Joe Garcia, and I'm joined by a very special guest from the other side of the world, actually. The number one fan from Japan, Taro Kotani.
Good to see you all. Thanks for
Good to
having me
see
today.
you. Yeah, no problem. And we're also joined by the masked man, Spurs Nation.
What's going on, Spurs
And
fans?
also
Going
by
on?
our Spurs fan cave brother, Martin M. Dominguez, joining us from an undisclosed location.
What up, everybody?
All right, guys. Well, I know everybody's excited about the regular season starting. Now I think we're 54 days away. Yeah, 54 days away from the regular season. And I believe we're now 31 days away from preseason. So how do you guys feel about that?
Very
Excited.
excited.
Everybody's excited. I know you're excited, Taro.
Yeah.
You can hardly wait to see the new AT&T Center renovations.
Right, that's right. Right.
And not only that, but the new team. I mean, what's the excitement like over there in Japan about this new revamped roster that the Spurs put together?
Well, nobody in Japan cares except me, so.
Ah, really?
Unfortunately, yeah.
There's not a lot of Spurs fans in Japan?
Honestly, I haven't come across a lot of Spurs fans here. I see a lot of people wearing like Lakers, Knicks uniforms, but not a lot of Spurs uniforms.
Oh man, that's a travesty, man. We need to get more Spurs fans out there in Japan.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start off with the topic that got a lot of attention. A lot of people they got really upset, but it wasn't me that actually wrote this topic. I even told everybody it's Air Alamo. Air Alamo went ahead and wrote a topic about the rankings in the NBA this year. Specifically, they had Tim Duncan ranked number 11. They had LaMarcus Aldridge ranked 12, and Kawhi Leonard was actually ranked 10th amongst all NBA players in the league. People were upset because of the rankings. They said that LaMarcus Aldridge should have ranked higher. They even said that Kawhi Leonard was overrated, and that's what I've been hearing. They said the Kawhi Leonard's ranking was overrated, as was Tim Duncan's LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, how do you all feel?
Rick?
Now, anyone could jump in anytime.
You know what? I don't.
Well, go ahead, Martin. What do you think about these rankings that they said the Spurs are overrated?
Oh, no, I mean, it's the same thing they always say about us every season, couple for 3-4 years in a row. Before we won the last title, they were saying, Spurs are too old, Spurs are too old. Then, we did the old man Riverwalk, wins another title. But 11th in the, there's a lot of up-and-coming stars. And even if he is ranked, let's say, number 11 to everybody else, he'll still be ranked top 3, and he's always going to be the number 1 power forward that always played the game. So to not have him in at least the top 10, I don't think that's cool,
Yeah,
But,
well, they said it's because he's not as dominating a player as he once was. But if you look at his stats, every single year he's been the most consistent power forward as far as the let's say the actual stats and the hardware that's ever played the game. There's other people that would like to argue the point that there's even better power forwards out there that might have a more illustrious career than Tim Duncan, but I don't agree with that statement. If you look at the overall stats throughout his career, he is the number 1 power forward and the best power forward to ever play in the NBA. Another topic that was, I guess, highly debated was who do you think is going to be the X factor off the bench for the Spurs this year? Remember, they have a lot of new acquisitions. They have Jameer Fredette, also have David West. They actually unit. So, who do you guys think will be the X factor this year?
Man,
It's going to be like a Manu.
I don't know,
What do you
man.
think, Taro? Who do you think is going to be our X factor off the bench?
I hope, I hope it's going to be either Kyle Anderson or Ray McCallum.
Okay.
If you look at the season last year, Tony Parker, he wasn't quite healthy all year long. He's playing with the French national team this summer again. You can't really bet on his health at this point. So, once the season starts, I'm pretty sure Pop's gonna divide up the minutes, but whoever comes off the bench to run that point is going to be. I think it's going to be a very key player. So I'm just hoping, we saw Kyle Anderson. He was running the point during the summer league. I'm not sure if he's going to play point guard or be backup for Kawhi, but if he does, I hope he plays well. And probably the obvious backup point guard is Ray McCallum. So I'm just hoping he, fills in the spot for Corey Joseph. What Corey Joseph was doing last year. So I'm hoping one of those two will be the breakout players.
Okay. And what do you think, Nation? Who do you have as your X factor off the bench this year?
Well, I agree with Taro about Ray McCollum, but I think,
Rick, can you hear us?
yeah, I'm here.
We can't hear you, man.
Uh-oh.
I can.
Oh, you
I
can hear
can
him?
hear you.
I can't hear him at all, dude.
I can hear you.
I don't think he's recording at all. Rick, I can't hear you, brother.
I'm here. Can you hear me, Joe? Can you hear me, brother?
I can't. I don't understand what he's saying.
I'm getting.
You're getting him?
I'm getting old. Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah,
our
Rick, you might have to drop out and come back in, brother. I lost you as far as your audio goes. Sorry, folks, technical difficulties.
Tune in Tokyo.
All right. Sorry, Rick. You're going to have to drop out and then come back in, dude, because I can't hear you at all. Martin, what do you think? Who's going to be the X factor?
The X Factor, I don't know, man. I'm actually hoping that Manu, being that it's going to be his possibly his last season, I'm hoping that he's going to go back to the old-fashioned Manu, like the highlight reel, and because he's still, even though he's coming off the bench and he's probably going to be his last season, he's spent all his years here. I think that he's going to unleash the beast once again.
Cool, man. All right, Rick, you back in now? Let's see if we can hear you, man.
Woo!
right.
Go Spurs! Go! Taro!
I can hear you now, Rick.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, that's a lot better. So now you get to answer your question. Who do you think is going to be the X factor for the Spurs coming off the bench this year?
Man, that's a tough one, man. I mean, because we got a new bench. I mean, we got Ray McCollum, we got David West, Jonathan Simmons. I mean, there's so many of those players that, but to me, I honestly think it could be David West, because even with him being at 35 years old, the guy can still score. He can still rebound. He still plays good defense, and he can still put up to at least 15 and 8 a night per game at most. So I'm really looking forward to what David West will be doing. So I think he could possibly be one of the X factors especially coming off the bench too. I mean, he's very aggressive, and he can drive to the basket fearless with no problem at all. That's what I love about the dude. I mean, he's got a great attitude on the court, and he's got that mental toughness, and
Oh, dude, lost you again, Rick. Well, Martin had to drop off because Martin had to leave already. Rick, can you hear you, Rick? Say something. Rick. I can't hear you, bro.
I can hear him.
You can hear him? I can't. You're going to have to get back in, Rick, because we lost you for some reason. Oh, there's Martin.
I'm back?
You're back. I thought you had to leave already, dude. That's why.
No, I'm back.
Okay. Thomas is going to be joining us shortly as well. Thomas, the Spurs dude, Vega, all the way from Corpus Christi, Texas. Rick, you might have to drop out and come back in again, bro, because I can't hear you, man.
All right.
Dang.
All right. Well, another topic we're going to talk about. Um, well, there's this talk that out of all the Spurs players that they've actually acquired this year, the number one player that everybody's expecting to have a breakout year is Ray McCollum. Ray McCollum is a very good point guard, uh, and he's actually been able to have some pretty good breakout games where he's dropped 30 points on teams. He's dropped 25, 26 points on teams. He's a very good athletic player. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think he's going to have, or him or possibly someone else, going to have a breakout year for the Spurs this season? If you could pick, who do you think it would be?
I mean, I think Ray's going to do good. I'm excited kind of to see if Jimmer Fredette goes back to his college years where he was just busting sick threes, you know, to help open up the defense, actually to just break down the defense for us. That way, you know, the rest of the guys can go in there and just kill it.
True that. What do you think, Taro? Do you know Jameer Fredette? Do you think he's going to have a great season this year? Because, I mean, it's basically his last chance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping he could, but at the same time, if you look at the roster, I just don't know if he can get any kind of minutes, you know, significant minutes, you know, playing. So I don't know. I'm not so sure about Jimmer Fredette. He might get some minutes here and there for some spot-up shooting, but I'm not sure if he can get, you know, significant minutes that, you know, where we can see consistent, you know, contributions from him over the season. So.
Yeah, I think one of the dark horses this year for the Spurs, somebody is going to come in and surprise everyone. I have to say is going to be Jonathan Simmons.
Yeah.
Man, he's crazy athletic, man. He just get out there and run in the open floor. I mean, he's a very athletic player that can create his own shot, and if he's out there, you know, in the open court, he's pretty dangerous, man. So that's who I'm thinking. Hey, Thomas! How's it going, buddy?
Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, you say hi to our friends, dude. Hey, we're joined by Thomas, the Spurs dude, Vega, all the way from Corpus Christi, Texas. Thank you for joining us. We have a special guest with us today, Thomas Taro Kotani. He's joining us all the way from Japan, man.
Hey, Thomas. Hey, how's it going, man? Finally, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you.
To San Antonio, at least think what you get out here twice, maybe 3 times a year.
Once, twice a year. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll see you again because usually come during the holiday season over here.
New Year's, yeah. That's what I'm scheduling my next trip. Yeah. So we'll hopefully meet up then. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll meet up with Taro. Hey man, don't forget to bring us some more of those crazy good Kit Kats, man. Those tasted good. They tasted like apples, like actual apples. We don't have that here in the States.
Oh yeah, glad you like them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were great. Yeah. Hey, Rick, are you with us still?
Yes, sir. I'm still, brother.
All right, Rick is here. So Rick, we're talking about who do you think is going to have a breakout year for the Spurs out of the new acquisitions?
Well, honestly, I think it would have to be Kawhi Leonard. I mean, with the way I've seen Kawhi Leonard as of late, I mean, the dude he's in much better shape than he is before, and he looks like he's really been working on his game. So possibly, I think Kawhi Leonard could possibly have a breakout year, and not only that, you know, he could be a top MVP candidate for the Spurs, and not only that, he could be also a back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year as well, as long as he's playing at a high elite level that, you know, he's been recently playing for the past few years, you know, for the past couple of years. You know, he'll probably have a breakout year.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that statement. He's probably going to have a lot better year this year. But he was recently interviewed, and in the interview he said he was actually wanting to be an MVP candidate this year, and he'd like to win the MVP of the NBA. So he's going to actually have to step up his game quite a bit if that's actually going to come to fruition. And what do you think, Thomas, as far as breakout years for one of the Spurs players? Who do you think it'll be this year?
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Rick. I think it's going to be Kawhi Leonard, mainly because Kawhi will probably look to score a lot more this season, especially with the way the Spurs are going on, especially age-wise. As they continue to age, they're going to rely on Kawhi a lot more, and not only that, but also LaMarcus Aldridge. It's going to be real interesting to see how LaMarcus and Kawhi mesh together as teammates.
Oh man,
Uh,
that's gonna be crazy to see on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And also another addition too, I think David West too helps the Spurs a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize how good David West is yet, because once he steps out on the floor, he's going to make a huge difference. I think Kawhi Leonard will be the most improved player on the Spurs. Obviously, you kind of win every year, and a lot of people will say, well, Kawhi's going to have to take more shots and be more aggressive, but I don't see that being a problem with Kawhi Leonard. I think, if he plays anything like he did in the 2014 finals against the Heat, when Greg Popovich, got into him and told him, no, Kawhi, play your game. Don't worry about us. And that's the way they have to play. Kawhi has to play with that mindset. Just play his game.
Yeah.
And not to say that to take all the shots, but if he plays his game and he worries less about trying to pass, he's going to score more efficiently. It's going to help the Spurs in the long run because scoring is not a bad thing. The Spurs need scoring. So as long as they have a high level, and he does a great job as a corner.
Hey, I'm going to bring up a topic of discussion. Some people are saying that David West, even though he is a good player in his own right at 35 years of age, David West really isn't known for rebounding. Now, there's an issue I think that's going to be even more exposed for the Spurs in years past. If they're not getting those rebounds, that means that this is going to turn into offensive rebounding for the other team, which means that they're going to have more shot opportunities, second, third chances to score this year. They're saying that because David West isn't a great rebounder and neither is Bobo, Boris Diaw, that the Spurs could actually be exposed in that area of their game, that as far as them not being able to pull in these rebounds, and giving the teams second and third opportunities to score. I mean, what do you all think?
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think, like I said, I think David West is a solid player. He's better than Thiago Splitter. Let's be honest here. He is better than Thiago Splitter. David West is a physical player. He's not the type of guy that's going to flop around the rim. He's going to go after offensive rebounds. He's going to get defensive rebounds. Despite what the numbers may say, I know how David West plays. This guy is physical. He's tough. He's rigid, and he's rough. I don't think it's going to be a problem with the Spurs. I really don't.
Okay. Well, I hope it's not a problem. I'm just saying what the analysts have been stating and some of the articles that I've been reading. The issue, I think, is going to be with the second unit isn't going to be the lack of talent. I think, if anything, it's probably going to be the opposite. I've never seen the Spurs bench have so much potential in a long time. And the problem is that you have players that could possibly be really great players, but there's going to be only so much playing time to go around. So we're only going to be able to see some of that. We won't be able to see full throttle, in other words, because there's only going to be so many players on the court at any given time. So I mean, I think we're a stacked second unit, and our first unit, our starters are looking pretty dangerous right now. It's amazing to see.
And also, yesterday, Sports Illustrated announced the top 100 players in the NBA.
Yeah.
The entire Spurs starting five made that list.
I know that it was with Kawhi Leonard was 10, Tim Duncan was 11. You had LaMarcus Aldridge at 12. I know that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were at 53, I think, and 55, something like that.
Well, actually, Mano didn't make the list of 100 players. I double checked and he wasn't on there.
So
now,
it was,
I don't know.
I know TP9 was 53.
Yeah, he's actually ranked higher than Kobe by one slot.
Actually, Danny Green was in number 50.
Yeah, Danny
Yeah,
Green was
there you
50.
go. Danny Green.
Yeah. And
So,
yeah.
another
And I
thing is
guess,
when. Go ahead.
and probably the reason why Manu was probably left out was probably because he's aging, and also because this year, like I said last year, I thought last year was gonna do it for Manu, but I think this year, he wanted to play another year, but this is more about LaMarcus Aldridge being there than anything else, because I think Manu only has so much to give to the Spurs right now, because his body cannot take the physical,
The physical
hits,
abuse.
pounding. Yeah, the abuse. Because Manu plays the game differently than the way Tim Duncan plays the game, and the reason why.
He reminds me of Allen Iverson, the way Allen Iverson used to play the game.
Yeah,
How he just came here and give up his body all the time and just throw himself on the ground.
And it takes a toll.
Yeah,
And not just the regular season and not just the playoff games and the finals, but Manu's played in a lot of international games. Even before he came to the NBA, he was already considered a pro player in Argentina at the age of 16 years old. Manu's always been playing in Italy. He's been playing his entire life, and you add up all those miles on his body. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, true enough, it is. So, Taro, what are you expecting from the Spurs this season? You think they're going to come away with the 6th NBA title? You hear me, Taro?
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Did y'all hear that music?
No, I heard a little bit. Hey, Taro, can you hear me? Somebody else reach out to him, see if he can hear you.
Taro, you there, Taro?
Taro!
Yeah, I can hear here and there.
Oh, okay. What I was asking, Taro, is what do you
Hearing
think
some
the
noise.
Spurs...
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the Spurs... What are you expecting out of the Spurs this season?
Are
Are you thinking they're going to come away with the 6th title?
Yeah, that's all I'm expecting, actually. I think, at the end, I'm expecting them to win the championship, but I think early, I think they'll struggle. They've picked up a lot of new players. Pop's going to have to find out what combination works, what combination doesn't. So, early in the season, I think you're going to see the Spurs go on like a 2-game losing streak, and then people start to panic. But then, at the end, I think, but come June, I'm expecting number 6.
Yeah, I think I agree with that statement. I think the Spurs might go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, and everybody from ESPN is going to say they're done.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you expect? It's the same thing over and over and over. They always say the Spurs are done. They're old. Their window's closed.
We're too old. We're too slow.
Yeah, the window's never closed.
Yeah. And Pop, we trust. As long as we got Pop in charge of the team, good things will happen. He can get any, third stringer that has potential, and they can mold them into, that player that they need.
And like I always say, the season doesn't really start for the Spurs until the rodeo road trip, and and I look at that the same way every year. Every year, it never changes. It's always the rodeo road trip. That's when their season starts, and the Spurs know that. So what they do in January, what they do in October, November, December, all January, it really doesn't matter. It's all about building that chemistry, and they don't need to win a certain amount of games. Now, obviously, it's the Western Conference is very competitive, but still, you want to pace yourself. You don't want to just come out and win a whole bunch of games and then, just burn out fumes, halfway through the season. You want to, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So, they're going to pace themselves, and if they lose a couple of games, it's nothing to worry about. As long as they're healthy, the Spurs will be fine. And like I said, the season will start at the rodeo road trip. And also, there's less back-to-backs this season. I think there was only like maybe 14, 15 back-to-backs compared to last year, like 22. Dramatic, a huge difference. So you're going to see a different season schedule with the Spurs. You're going to see more rest in between games. There's not going to be so many of those back-to-backs, 5 games or 4 games and 5 nights.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness. And it's not so many, and it's not so much the games that they were playing. It's more about the jet lag that they get from traveling from one city to the next. You know, I see the Spurs. They fly at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're barely landing in their next destination, like 3 in the morning. Depending on where they're flying. So they're tired. As a normal human being, we get tired if we're traveling.
Cool. I'm going to switch gears real quick. I'm going to talk about a topic that I saw. It was quite interesting. Jeff Van Gundy actually said that if Tim Duncan was to retire, because of the great plethora of knowledge that he has, and also being, let's say, working, or so let's say he was working with Coach Popovich all of these years, as his coach, and basically he's been the only coach that he's ever played for. And he's been one of the greatest coaches in the NBA for so many years, that Tim Duncan would actually make a great head coach if he actually decided to go that route once he retires. Can you imagine that? Coach Duncan?
Oh my God.
I mean, what do you guys think? Would he make a great head coach?
I think so. I think he would. And not only that, but a lot of people respect Tim Duncan. A lot of players, they know who Tim Duncan is, and they know he has a lot of intelligence. He has a very high IQ as a basketball player, and he wasn't just good fundamentally, but this guy's just smart. He's smart both on and off the court. He's a smart person, a smart guy, and I think he can relate to NBA players probably better than other NBA coaches can these days, because Tim Duncan knows what it was like to play in the NBA. Now, that's easier said than done, of course, but we saw what happened with Jason Kidd. He's still trying to transition himself from playing in the NBA to coaching.
Let's see what the others have to say. What do you think, Taro or Rick? I mean, would you think Tim Duncan would make a great head coach?
You can go ahead, Taro. Go for it, man.
Go ahead, Taro. Do you think Tim Duncan would make a great head coach?
I think so. I think like Thomas said, he knows the game very well. I think he started being like superstar. Now he's kind of letting other people kind of flourish. He takes a step back. I think playing under Pop all of his career, I think he really understands how when how he can utilize his teammates and stuff. So I think he can be a very, very good coach in the NBA.
Coach Duncan. What about you, Rick?
Yeah, I think Duncan for sure would be a real good coach for the Spurs. I mean, he knows the system so well, and he knows when he sees his teammates doing wrong. He points out their flaw on what they're doing, and he has them adjust. Either whether if it's defensively or if they're on the offensive side. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how.
Oh no, we lost Rick again. What do you think, Martin?
Oh yeah, I mean, just the same thing Taro said, is that he's been playing under Pop all these years. His IQ for the game is awesome. The step, almost everything Taro said. You take the step back. He knows how to utilize players. I really don't know. I mean, that's an honor for them to say that he would make a good coach, but I don't even know if Duncan would come back, because if they win the title this year, I mean, that's 6 titles, and redo that again as a coach, it's going to be that almost an expectation for him to be as great as Popovich. And I don't know, man. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. But I think Pop, in his own right, there's a difference between the coach mindset and the player mindset. You can come in and be an awesome player, but I mean, Coach Pop is, spectacular. So I don't know. Of course, as Spurs fans, we'll support Duncan on whatever he does, on and off the court. But I don't know if he does decide to go in that route. Of course, as Spurs fans, we wish him the best, and it'll be another exciting chapter in Duncan's life if he decides to go down that route.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what I think Duncan should do? I think Duncan should not be a head coach. I think he should be a ref in the NBA so he can eject Joey Crawford from a game. You're out of here, buddy. Wouldn't that be something, right? Joey Crawford gets thrown out by Tim Duncan.
Oh man.
Oh man, that would be hilarious, dude. Hey, another thing I want to talk about real quick too is there's a local artist here in town. His name is Christopher Montoya. He just actually finished creating a really cool mural that's right across from the AT&T Center. It's at Best Tickets at 920. It's located at 926 AT&T Center Parkway, and it's actually honoring the Spurs Coyote. He didn't do it as far as like the big three, and we see Timmy and we see TP9, Tony Parker, and we see Manu, or you're gonna see Kawhi Leonard. No, he did it straight up with the Coyote, and he even used the old colors from the old school logo, and he did like a really cool skyline in the background, and he did like a San Antonio, and he put the old colors. Man, it looks pretty amazing. What do you guys think?
Beautiful. I love it. I love the way it looks. I mean, it's especially because it's got the old Fiesta colors on it, and
Yeah.
beautiful. I love it.
Look at that. Even Taro showing some Coyote love right there. Yeah, man, that was a really cool mural. I haven't seen anything like that before. Everybody's always putting the big three, but to see the Coyote actually put in there, that was pretty awesome, man. That's a place where we all need to go and take a pic, man.
You know what?
Hey, real quick, guys, I'm gonna have to exit my part of the show. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast.
All right, brother. You have a good one.
Okay,
All
Mark.
right, later.
Take care, Martin.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Later, Taro.
Martin. Bye, Martin.
All right, another thing that was pretty funny that we saw earlier in the week was the impersonation of Manu Ginobili. You saw that guy doing his Manu Ginobili impersonation. Oh my God, man! These guys are idiots, man. That was hilarious, man. He had the flop down pat.
Yeah.
He did everything just like Manu, man. It was hilarious. Then he did another one off of Tim Duncan, where he goes and dunks, and he does the arm, the fist pump like this, and then he runs down the court like Tim Duncan. Oh man, we need to do something like that, Rick.
What?
When we say we need to do something like that when we play basketball out there, set the hoop real low, and start trying to do impersonations of Tim Duncan or Kawhi Leonard.
Oh man.
We could dunk on Leonard, man. Leonard's little, dude.
Yeah, the Spurs, baby.
Yeah.
Wee man.
Yeah, the wee man dunk contest on the little Tykes basketball court.
Wee
Yeah.
man.
Like shorts that they wore back like in the 70s, with they're way above the.
Oh man. The wee man dunk contest. Oh man, Leonard, we love you, brother. Hey, you should do that, man. We should have him stand right there and then dunk on him, right? Oh man, do you know who Leonard is, right, Taro? Leonard, the Spurs man Johnson.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah.
Did you meet him? When you met him, did he have the wig on, or?
Yeah. No,
All
he
right,
didn't
man.
have the wig on.
He didn't have the wig on. Okay. Yeah, he's got a new look coming this season. You all just watch out for that. It's gonna be pretty amazing, man. He'll be unrecognizable, but in a good way. In a good way. But So, what do you all think? I mean, the Spurs are going to win a sixth NBA title?
I think so. I think they can get it done. Just like every other year, last year, that playoff series was never supposed to happen. Even Adam Silver, they admitted it, and that's why they changed that playoff format too. So it's not going to be those division winners where they get home court advantage. It's just going to go by your record, and I think the Spurs, they can do it again. And like I said, it's always how they play heading into the playoffs. How they approach that part of the season. As long as they're healthy and they're playing Spurs basketball, there's no reason why they can't win another championship.
Yeah, there is no reason why they couldn't win another championship, as long as they stay, all of them stay healthy. That's the things that I hope. I hope that they can all stay healthy this season. Of course, somebody's gonna twist an ankle or have some type of a hamstring injury, something. But if they can pretty much stay healthy when it matters, right before the playoffs start, I think they're going to be in great shape. And we all know how Pop likes to manage their minutes. So with such a deep roster, I think that's going to be a really easy task for him this year. What do you guys think? Rick,
Yeah.
anybody heard my question? And what do you think about the minutes?
What do we think about the minutes?
Yeah, I said I think that the Spurs are gonna be able to go after a sixth championship, but I said as long as they remain healthy, and I said as long as they have, they have a really good roster, a deep roster this year. I think that Coach Pop is going to be able to manage their minutes a lot more easier this year because he has so many players at his disposal. So that's going to keep the Spurs healthy right when it matters, right before the playoffs start.
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, and not only that, I mean, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Ginobili and Duncan and possibly Parker as well. I think he's possibly going to give Mills and Cullum more free time. I doubt McCollum that'll give him some time. I hope he does, man. It's just so that way, like, they can save Clark, our main big three, especially come towards playoff time, because you don't want to play him like too much. I mean, I would keep them at 15 minutes at most. Let the rest, let the other guys. I mean, for the Pop team, and they'll be ready for playoff time, and we've talked about this, and it's true because we've talked about this so many times. Health is the number one priority for a team. Because if your team especially come towards playoff times, you're gonna have to fight. The players are really gonna have to step up their game in order just to beat the team that they face, whoever they face, whether it's the first round, the second round, or the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, true that. Taro, I'm gonna go ahead and switch gears to Taro. Taro, I'm gonna ask you some questions, man.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you some questions when you come to San Antonio, because I believe the viewers want to know. What's your favorite food when you come to San Antonio? What's the number one thing that you like to eat when you're here?
The number one thing.
Are those big Spurs donuts?
The Spurs donuts, yeah, I like them. I had them. Well, yeah, I've only had that once actually during my last trip. But a restaurant that I always go to is the Lulu's in downtown San Antonio.
The ones with the big cinnamon rolls?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, you can feed off like you can feed 4 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, so that's where I met. That's where I met Spurs' big homie. Actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come to San Antonio, that's the place that you like to go and eat there, huh?
Yeah, I go there quite often. Yeah.
Okay. Have you gone to any Mexican restaurants here in San Antonio?
I've been to a bunch. I can't remember the names of the restaurants. That I've gone to some of the restaurants that's around the Riverwalk. So
Market Square. Have you been to that one? Downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Cool, man. So, what do you think about San Antonio when you come down here?
What about the city in general?
Yeah, about the city.
It's very good. You know, the size of the city. You know, it's not like too big like LA, New York. It's not too small. It's about just right for me. I like the people there, so it's been pretty good.
They're very friendly here in San Antonio.
People are very friendly with me. Yeah.
I'd like to go and visit Japan one day, Taro.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, man, they got any places that the big boys can go and eat, man? If I go to Japan, man, they're gonna think I'm a sumo wrestler, bro.
Oh my God.
All you can eat buffet. No, but if we go to Japan, man, what do you recommend we eat over there?
I guess like sushi, you know, seafood, that kind of stuff.
I love sushi.
Yeah, sushi's good, man. I wouldn't mind going down there and trying some of that. I like the seafood that you all have out there in Japan, man. I wouldn't mind trying that.
Yeah.
God. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, but not only that, man, but you all don't have a lot. You all have a lot of people that live in Japan, but you all literally walk everywhere, right? Y'all walk a lot out there? I think I lost him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the screen just froze.
Yeah, his screen froze. Taro, you're stuck, man. It's like you're frozen in time, bro.
Yeah, on that picture, it looked like he fell asleep.
Nah, he's not asleep, man. All right, guys.
No,
Well, go ahead.
Blackjack speech.
Oh, check that out. He has that blackjack speed shop.
I
You saw that?
Yeah.
you know what, bro? I went up there about 2 years ago with Rachel, and
Oh,
I checked out the place. It's so freaking cool.
I wonder if we go to the blackjack speed shop, they can make us a custom-made Wee Man car, man.
Man.
They can trick out a little
Yeah.
tight. Put some rims on that thing, man.
Oh my God.
Put some fives on it.
I know, and the horn,
Five.
the horn.
Custom-made license plates, Wee Man. Put some nitrous in that thing. Oh man.
Yeah, the horn would be like.
Woo! I think the wheels will fall off of that thing, man. Yeah, we need to do something like that, man. I think this year, for our fans, we need to have like a little dunk contest or something, man. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be funny. We'll be laughing, man. Gotta have Thomas come out here and compete.
Ah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the show now. Thank you guys for joining us today. I really appreciate it, especially it's so early. Taro, really appreciate you coming out and joining us today all the way from Japan. We appreciate you. That's our Spurs fan cave brother from the other side of the world, Taro Kotani, the #1 Spurs fan from Japan. Thank you for joining us today. And next time, guys, we'll talk about more topics. We'll be your source for all things Spurs. So until next time, go Spurs, go! I'm the only one that said it.
Go.
All right, guys. Thank you.